5 prophetic clues you've met the person God designed for your mission. All right, chosen one, let me ask you something, and this time, answer with the honesty your soul deserves. Have you ever encountered someone who didn't just stir your emotions, but shook the very ground of your spirit? I'm not talking about fleeting attraction or the rush of butterflies. I'm speaking of a pull so profound, so relentless, that no matter how fiercely you try to silence it, it keeps rising from the depths, calling you back. You've tried to walk away. You've tried to bury it under reason, prayer, even self-persuasion. You've told yourself it's over, yet it lingers. There is a force, unseen but undeniable, that keeps drawing you toward them. And in the stillness, when no one else is near you can't help but wonder, is this just my mind? Is it weakness? Or is it the quiet whisper of God Himself breathing into my spirit? Chosen one, hear this well. God does not toy with hearts, nor weave soul ties for His amusement. When heaven forges a bond, it is deliberate, carrying weight, mission, and divine timing. And today, I will reveal 5 prophetic signs that God has appointed a specific person to walk this journey with you. This is not about fleeting passion or human desire. This is about the alignment of destiny. Stay with me to the end, and your eyes will open to a truth most people never see in their lifetime. You will understand why this connection refuses to fade because it was never meant to. It's why they invade your prayers. Why even in the stillness, a voice deep within keeps whispering, it's not over. But chosen one, before we go further, I need you to take a step that is more than action, it is agreement with heaven. If this message is cutting through to your spirit right now, mark it. If you know you are part of the remnant, the army God Himself has set apart, then anchor yourself here because heaven is releasing revelation, and you cannot afford to miss what is coming. And I want you to seal it with a prophetic act. Type the number 99 in the comments. Why 99? Because heaven will leave the 99 to pursue the one, and that one connection could be the very thread your destiny is woven through. By writing 99, you declare you are ready for divine clarity. Now let's go deeper. What you are about to hear may forever shift how you see this person. Sign 1. The repeated encounters are not random. Chosen one, let me tell you a spiritual truth many overlook. God's fingerprints are hidden inside what the world calls coincidence. You've tried to walk away. You've told yourself, it's done. I'm free. I'm moving forward. Yet, when your guard is down, it happens. A simple scroll on social media, and their face appears. You step into a place you've never been, and there they stand, as if heaven placed them there on purpose. You wake to find their name echoing in your mind, as if it followed you out of the dream. Chosen one, these are not accidents. They are not random glitches in the system of life. They are divine appointments, moments heaven has scripted long before you could see the pattern. When God intends to unite 2 souls, He does not need to shout. He does not send choirs of angels with blazing trumpets. He moves quietly through timing, through patterns, through the choreography of life that seems almost invisible to the eyes, yet shakes the spirit like thunder. Have you wondered why? Just when you think you're forgetting them, life draws you back? It's because this connection is not anchored in emotion, it is anchored in purpose. And purpose does not fade when feelings shift. Purpose waits. It aligns. It reawakens when heaven declares now. Here's the mystery. God's divine connections often wear the disguise of inconvenience. You meet in moments that feel awkward, in situations that seem insignificant. Yet, in the unseen realm, those encounters are heaven's checkpoints, each one a test, a confirmation, a reminder that your story has not reached its final chapter. Understand this, chosen one. God will permit temporary separation to cultivate permanent transformation. He will allow distance to refine you, to mold you into who you must be for the promise ahead. But when the appointed time comes, He will bend the very paths of life to make sure your roads meet again. And when that day arrives, it will not be random. It will be divine precision. Tell me, have you noticed how these meetings are never truly casual? The conversations strike deeper than words should allow. The silences speak louder than sound. Even a simple hello carries the weight of something eternal, as if it's an echo from a place your mind can't name, but your soul remembered. That's because your spirits know each other beyond time and space. Each time your eyes meet, it's as if a buried memory awakens, not for nostalgia's sake, not as some cruel game with your heart, but as the Holy Spirit recalibrating your attention towards something heaven has yet to complete. But here's the caution: not every intense connection is divine. This is why discernment is not optional, it is essential. When the bond is from God, it will not leave you in chaos. It will not drown you in endless confusion. Instead, even with unanswered questions, there will be a quiet peace that settles in your spirit, a whisper that says, "There is more to this." And that's why you're here. That's why this very message found you. The encounters you've been having are not life cycling back at random. They are heaven's tap on your shoulder saying, "Pay attention." The story is not finished. You are in a divine rehearsal. These repetitive crossings are not interruptions, they are preparations. God is training your eyes to recognize His fingerprints. He is aligning your heart to see beyond what can be seen, so that when the appointed time comes, you will know without doubt this is the one heaven sent. And as you listen now, you're beginning to see it. The so-called coincidences you dismissed, the random moments you brushed aside, were never random at all. They were prophetic breadcrumbs, each one leading you back to the path of your assignment. But hear me, chosen one, these encounters are about to intensify. When God is on the verge of releasing something, He does not grow silent, He amplifies the signals. So, expect the unexpected. Prepare your spirit. This has never been coincidence, it has always been divine design. If this word is stirring something in the depths of you, stay with me. Because in the next sign, you'll see how this person's presence is not just familiar, it's catalytic. Even without speaking, they awaken something in you that has been dormant for too long. Sign 2, their presence awakens your spirit. Chosen one, hear this carefully. This is not about butterflies. It's not about the thrill of being noticed, desired, or admired. This is about ignition at the level of your soul. There are people who make you feel wanted. There are people who can keep you entertained. But there are rare souls who, without effort, ignite a spiritual fire inside you. When they walk into the room, the atmosphere shifts. Your thoughts grow sharper. Your prayers find boldness. The distractions that clouded your heart suddenly fall away, and you realign with your divine purpose. This is not emotional dependency, it is spiritual activation. God does not send people merely to keep you comfortable. He sends certain souls to wake you up, to call forth the dreams you buried, to reignite the visions you silenced, and to pull you back into alignment with heaven's blueprint for your life. And the most powerful part? They don't have to preach. They don't have to persuade. They don't even have to speak. Their very presence becomes the sermon. Their very presence is prophetic. Without speaking a word, their energy disrupts the stagnation that has settled in you. It calls forth the warrior, the intercessor, the visionary, the parts of you life tried to bury under disappointment and distraction. Chosen one, have you noticed? When you're near this person, you become more aware of who you truly are, not the version the world shaped through its labels, not the one molded by trauma or expectation, but the original design God whispered into existence before you ever took your first breath. That's because their spirit carries a key, one crafted to unlock hidden chambers of your destiny. This is kingdom alignment. It's not mere chemistry, because chemistry fades. When heaven forges a connection, it reaches beyond emotion and anchors itself in eternal purpose. When God writes your story, He doesn't join you with someone who will let you stay comfortable. He pairs you with someone who will stir your growth, sharpen your discernment, and reflect back to you the image of who you are called to be in the Spirit. And here's the mystery: this activation flows both ways. In their presence, you both awaken. There is a divine synergy. Your spirits recognize each other, and together you begin to vibrate at a higher frequency. Your prayers carry greater weight. Your dreams find their wings again. Your purpose gains unstoppable momentum. Understand this: it's not about someone completing your weaknesses, it's about encountering a soul that complements your calling. Two flames that, when joined, burn brighter, not for self-gratification, but for kingdom impact. Yet be prepared, this connection will not always feel emotionally safe, because they will challenge you, not with criticism, but simply by living in the presence of their purpose. Their presence will compel you to rise higher. It will stir you to face the places in your life you've been avoiding. That is why this connection feels both uncomfortable and sacred, because it is in that sacred discomfort that God does his deepest work. The right person will never rock you to sleep in spiritual apathy. They will awaken the parts of you hell prayed you would never discover. They will remind you of the prayers you stopped praying, of the promises you thought had slipped away. Chosen one, here's how you recognize a God-ordained connection. Even without words, even without touch, their spiritual presence sharpens your focus on God. You are not distracted, you are elevated. You don't feel diminished, you feel heaven enlarging your territory. And maybe this is why the enemy fought so fiercely to separate you. He knew that if the two of you ever stood side by side, aligned in purpose, you would become an unstoppable force in the spirit realm. This is not just emotion. It is the resonance of a divine frequency. Their presence is a mirror, reflecting the warrior, the leader, the intercessor God has always called you to be. And this, chosen one, is only the beginning. Because in the next sign, you will understand why even time, even silence, even great distance cannot sever a bond that was etched into heaven's archives before you were born. The connection you feel is not fragile, it is eternal. And you are about to see why it refuses to die, no matter how far apart you may be. Sign 3. The bond survives time, silence, and distance. Chosen one, hear me, most connections are fragile. They crack under distance. They fade in silence. A simple misunderstanding, a few weeks apart, and suddenly it's as if they never knew you. That is the pattern of human connection. But when God is the author of a bond, it is written on a foundation that time, silence, and distance cannot dismantle. In human relationships, people crave constant proof. Text me back. Show me you care. Don't let too much time pass or I'll forget you. But spiritual connections breathe in a different atmosphere. They do not suffocate in absence, they mature within it. Chosen one, God often ordains seasons of separation, not to kill the connection, but to refine it. He does not unite souls for fleeting companionship. He forges bonds that can stand through storms, endure deserts, and survive even the coldest silences. Perhaps you've lived it. Months pass, years even. Life piles on reasons to believe it's over. Then, without warning, it happens. A memory surfaces. A name returns to your thoughts. A dream interrupts your night. And it's not nostalgia. It's not emotional weakness. It is your spirit responding to a bond heaven has never permitted to be severed. Understand this, chosen one. When God writes your story, He does not flinch at distance. He does not panic in silence. For what is forged in the spirit is not bound by the limits of time or space. The world says love fades when you are apart. But in the kingdom, love does not wither in absence. It matures in the wilderness. It sends roots deep beneath the surface. It learns to breathe through seasons of pruning. And when the appointed time arrives, what has endured the distance emerges unshakable. Understand this. This bond is not emotional obsession, it is a spiritual tether. A covenant that transcends what your natural eyes can perceive. Even when you walked separate paths, even when mistakes left scars, even when words cut deep, something sacred remained untouched. That is not human attachment. It is the preservation of a divine assignment. Chosen one, this is training in spiritual resilience. God allows the pause to teach you patience. He allows the silence so you learn to hear his whispers. He allows the distance to show you that proximity is not the proof of purpose, obedience is. Consider this, some connections crumble at the first sign of discomfort. But the one God has authored for you, no matter the silence, no matter the miles, your spirits remain in dialogue. Even when you cannot see each other, your missions continue to intertwine in the unseen. It is not about how often you communicate, it is about how deeply you remain spiritually aligned to each other's purpose. Often, the most powerful work God does in a divine connection happens in the seasons of separation because it is there that he works on the individual pieces. He refines character. He heals wounds. He prepares hearts. And here, chosen one, is the most important revelation. If God has allowed this connection to survive everything designed to break at the distance, the misunderstandings, the barren emotional seasons, it is because the assignment is still alive. This bond was never created for convenience. It was forged for kingdom impact. Chosen one, this is not weakness. This is not you being trapped in the past. This is you being tethered to a future heaven has already seen. When the bond refuses to die, when it defies every logical reason to end that, is when you know this is not emotional dependency. This is prophetic endurance. But hear the warning, the enemy knows the weight of this connection. That's why he will use time to breed doubt and silence to plant questions. Yet remember, God does not need noise to work. He moves in the quiet. He operates in the unseen. And when the appointed moment comes, he will reconnect what he has preserved, not as a repeat of the past, but as a rebirth into purpose. The bond you feel, the one that keeps pulsing in your spirit despite the years, despite the silence, despite the miles, is not dead. It is a seed. And a seed is not gone when it disappears beneath the soil. It has only been buried. Now, in this season of divine alignment, it is about to break through and sprout. And you must stay with me, because in the next sign, you will see why this connection is not merely about companionship. It is about a joint mission, one powerful enough to shake the spiritual atmosphere itself. You thought this was just about a relationship. It's about impacting destinies. Stay close, chosen one, because this next revelation could shift how you see everything. Sign 4, they push you toward your calling, not away from it. Hear this truth, not everyone who loves you is aligned with your calling. Some are sent to comfort your wounds, but the ones God sends are sent to awaken the warrior in you. There are connections that distract, they feel good for a season. They fill emotional gaps, but deep down, you feel yourself drifting. Your prayer life weakens. Your vision loses focus. Your hunger for God is replaced with temporary pleasures. But when God ordains a connection, it does not numb you, it ignites you. This person may not always say what you want to hear, but they carry the authority to reflect back to you the version of yourself heaven has called you to become. They will not entertain your excuses. They will not nurture your comfort zones. Their very presence provokes your spirit to rise higher. And here's the remarkable part. It doesn't happen through manipulation or endless speeches. It's subtle, yet unstoppable. Simply being near them recalibrates your focus. Suddenly, your prayers run deeper. Your dreams stretch wider. Your assignment comes into sharper view because their spirit is wired to realign yours with heaven's blueprint. This is not chemistry. Chemistry can be manufactured, faked through charm, attention, or attraction. What you are experiencing is covenant activation. It's a divine synergy that goes beyond emotions. It awakens your potential. It summons the hidden gifts inside you. It exposes the places where you've settled for less. Understand this, chosen one. The one God sends will not walk with you through endless fields of roses. At times, they will confront you. At times, their presence will make you uncomfortable not because they oppose you, but because they see what heaven has placed within you, and they refuse to let you live beneath your anointing. Have you noticed, chosen one, that when you begin to drift spiritually, this person somehow pulls you back? Not through guilt, not through pressure, but simply through the gravity of their presence. Their passion ignites your own. Their pursuit of purpose shakes you out of complacency. That is not coincidence. It is divine design. God does not pair you with people merely to comfort you. He pairs you with those who refine you. They are not your escape. They are your alignment force. They may not be your happily ever after, in the way stories are told, but they are your divine catalyst. Sometimes, the person God uses to activate your calling is not the one who makes you feel safe, but the one who makes you feel sent. They remind you of your spiritual DNA. When the world tries to shrink you, they provoke you to expand. When the enemy tries to drown you in doubt, they stir you to believe again. They become a living mirror, reflecting back the version of yourself God envisioned, stronger, bolder, anchored in purpose. And here is the mystery. Even when distance separates you, their influence remains. Their voice echoes in your decisions. Their example becomes the standard you measure yourself against. They awaken a spiritual momentum that refuses to fade, making small thinking impossible, making shallow prayers unbearable. Do you see it now? This is not a romantic fairy tale. It is a kingdom partnership in the making. Even if they do not remain in your life forever, their role is pivotal. God is using them as a bridge to carry you from who you are to who you were always meant to be. And maybe, just maybe, that is why the enemy has fought this connection so violently. Not because of how they make you feel, but because of who you become in their presence. Chosen one, when someone refuses to let you settle when they challenge you, sharpen you, align you, that is not chemistry. That is covenant. That is purpose colliding with purpose. Chosen one, the timing of God had to be exact. You are about to understand the kingdom strategy behind this connection. Sign 5, your mission and their mission are intertwined. You must grasp this. God does not orchestrate connections merely to satisfy human emotion. He aligns lives for kingdom impact. Before you loved each other, before you even knew each other's name, heaven had already drafted a blueprint, one where your gifts, your wounds, your dreams, and even your battles would interlock like sacred puzzle pieces. This connection was never about filling an empty space in your heart. It was always about fulfilling a divine assignment on earth. The world teaches you to look for someone who will complete you emotionally, but heaven's concern is not your comfort zone. Heaven is strategic. God seeks partnerships that will shake spiritual realms, alliances that will birth movements, bonds that will become weapons of mass restoration. And here's the mystery. The very places where you feel weak, they carry a matching strength. The dreams you've been too afraid to pursue, they carry the courage you've lacked. The wounds you thought had disqualified you, they carry the balm to heal, not only you, but countless others through the power of your union. Chosen one, this is divine interdependence. Not dependency born from fear of being alone, but alignment birthed from heaven's agenda. When God intertwines two missions, his vision reaches far beyond photographs and fleeting romance. He's thinking of legacies, of generations, of chains shattering and territories being claimed for the kingdom. You may not have realized it, but the one who stirs your spiritual awakening, the one who challenges you to grow their life, carries keys to doors you've been knocking on for years. And you carry keys for them. Together, You don't just form a couple, you form a spiritual force field. Your testimonies merge. Your battles unite. Your victories multiply. Because this connection was never designed for individual survival, it was destined for corporate revival. And this is why the bond feels irreplaceable. Why no matter who else enters your life, it never carries the same weight. It's because this connection was not born from human emotion. It was birthed in eternity's archives. A story heaven wrote before the foundations of the world. And God is far too intentional to let it unfold before its appointed time. That's why the process has been so deliberate. That's why the timing has tested your patience. Because this is not a casual relationship, it is a kingdom alliance with generational consequences. Every delay, every pruning season, every moment of separation was allowed to fortify the pillars of your joint assignment. God would not unite you while wounds were still unhealed or while your spirits remained out of alignment. In the silent seasons, He was refining you and refining them two parallel paths, always moving toward an inevitable divine collision. Chosen one, this is more than a relationship. It is a spiritual deployment, two callings woven together to unlock realms of influence neither of you could reach alone. And the enemy knew this. That's why the warfare has been relentless. Not because of your feelings, but because of your combined impact. When heaven aligns two missions, their union becomes a portal through which divine strategies manifest on earth. You don't just love each other, you amplify each other's anointing. You cover each other's blind spots. Together, you become heaven's answer to problems you have not yet even seen. When God joins two missions, His vision stretches far beyond personal happiness. He's thinking of the lives you will touch, the chains you will break, the spiritual territories you will reclaim. That's why this connection feels sacred. That's why it feels irreplaceable. Because it was never about what's comfortable, it has always been about what is eternally consequential. And now, as you hear these words, something deep within you begins to stir. A realization, a remembrance. You are not crazy. You are not obsessive. You are spiritually aware. You've been discerning what heaven has been orchestrating all along a kingdom alliance wrapped in divine timing. But chosen one, we are not finished yet. It's time to bring everything together. In this final revelation, you will see why God's delays were never denials. And why, when He moves with precision, with glory, and with unstoppable purpose. This moment right here is not coincidence. Everything you've heard until now was not just information, it was a prophetic unveiling. A divine reminder that heaven has been moving pieces behind the scenes. Even in your doubt, even when the full picture was hidden, the signs you noticed, the random encounters, the bond that refuses to die, it has all been part of a sacred design. A blueprint heaven drew before your first breath. You are not imagining it. You are not being foolish. You are being called deeper. God has not been silent, He has been strategic. Every moment was preparation for this moment of clarity. Chosen one, the connection you feel is not here to entertain your emotions. It is here to ignite your mission. It is here to align you with the version of yourself hell never wanted to see awaken. This is not the closing of a chapter. This is the prelude to your divine deployment. And now I want you to make a declaration. Write it in the comments as a spiritual seal, a stamp that echoes into the atmosphere. Chosen one, pause here and understand something profound that most will never grasp in their lifetime. God's delays are not denials, they are divine designs wrapped in sacred purpose. The season of separation you have endured, the wilderness of waiting you have walked through, the silence that has tested your faith, none of it was punishment. All of it was preparation. Heaven operates on a timeline that defies human understanding. While you counted the days, wondering if you misheard God's voice, wondering if you were foolish to believe in something so beyond the natural, the Almighty was orchestrating the most intricate symphony of transformation. Two souls, being shaped simultaneously in separate chambers, refined by different fires, yet being prepared for the same eternal purpose. Listen carefully. God cannot unite what is not yet ready to carry the weight of destiny. The connection you feel burning in your spirit, this is not a casual romance heaven is preparing. This is a spiritual powerhouse in the making. A kingdom alliance that will shake territories and shift spiritual atmospheres. And such unions require preparation that goes deeper than surface attraction, deeper than emotional compatibility. In the hidden seasons, the ones where you felt forgotten, where prayers seemed to echo back empty, where the silence grew so heavy you questioned everything God was working. Not just in you, but in them. Every disappointment that broke pride, every trial that revealed character flaws, every moment of isolation that forced you deeper into His presence. These were not random hardships, these were divine appointments with transformation. The enemy whispered, "Yeah, it wouldn't take so long." But the Spirit of Truth declares, "What I am building cannot be rushed, cannot be microwaved, cannot be forced into existence before its appointed time." The depth of your calling requires the depth of preparation. The magnitude of your mission demands the refinement of your character. Here is the mystery most never perceive. While you were learning patience, they were learning surrender. While you were being broken of independence, they were being freed from fear. While you were discovering your true identity in Christ, they were being delivered from the lies that once defined them. Two separate journeys, guided by the same divine hand, leading to an inevitable collision of purpose. God has been preparing you both, not just to love each other, but to love from a place of wholeness. Not to complete each other's brokenness, but to complement each other's calling. The wounds He allowed to be exposed were not meant to scar you permanently, they were meant to be healed completely, so that your union would birth healing for others. Every rejection that stung taught you the value of unconditional love. Every season of singleness that felt like punishment was actually divine protection, shielding you from connections that would have diminished your anointing, distracted from your assignment, or derailed your destiny. Heaven was guarding what it intended to release in due season. Chosen one, this season of preparation is holy ground. It is here that faith is forged in fire. It is here that your desperation for human validation is transformed into complete dependence on divine direction. The waiting room of God is never empty time. It is pregnant with purpose, heavy with the anticipation of breakthrough. In this season, your prayers have shifted. What began as pleas for quick resolution have matured into declarations of trust. Your worship has deepened. What started as seeking God for what He could give has transformed into seeking Him for who He is. Your identity has solidified. No longer do you define yourself by who might choose you. You now know who you are because of who chose you first. This is the sacred preparation, God making you so secure in His love, so anchored in His purpose, so rooted in His identity for you, that when the human connection comes, it will not become an idol. It will not replace your first love. It will enhance it. It will amplify it. It will become a living testimony of His faithfulness. And here is what heaven wants you to know. The very fact that this connection has survived every season designed to kill it, the distance, the silence, the doubts, the distractions, proves it was never meant to be temporary. What man cannot sustain, what human effort cannot maintain, What natural circumstances cannot preserve, God will supernaturally protect until the appointed time of manifestation. Your preparation season is nearing its completion. The dreams are intensifying. The signs are multiplying. The stirring in your spirit is growing stronger because heaven is preparing to move. All the character development, all the spiritual growth, all the lessons learned in the lonely seasons, they were not in vain. They were investments in a future you cannot yet fully comprehend. The person whose name echoes in your prayers, whose face appears in your dreams, whose spirit calls to yours across every mile of separation, they have been in their own sacred preparation chamber. And when God unites what He has refined, what emerges will not be two broken people trying to fix each other. It will be two whole people, prepared by heaven, ready to fulfill a mission that will outlive your earthly existence. Chosen one, your waiting is almost over. Your preparation season is about to graduate into your manifestation moment. The sacred work is nearly complete. What God has been building in secret, He is about to reveal in power. And when that day comes, and it will come, you will understand why every delay was divine, why every test was necessary, why every season of separation was sacred preparation for a union that will shake both earth and heaven. The foundation has been laid. The preparation is complete. Now watch God move with precision, with power, and with perfect timing. Chosen one, there comes a sacred moment when the whispers of your spirit are no longer whispers. They become divine confirmations thundering from the throne room of heaven itself. You have felt it stirring. You have sensed the pull. You have recognized the signs. But now, God begins to speak through channels you cannot ignore, through voices you cannot dismiss, through manifestations so clear that doubt becomes impossible. This is the season when heaven opens its archives and begins to reveal what has been written in eternity about this connection. The confirmation will not come as a gentle suggestion. It will arrive as a prophetic avalanche, sweeping away every question mark, every hesitation, every fragment of uncertainty that the enemy planted in your mind. Chosen one, pay attention to your dreams, for in this season, they are no longer products of your subconscious. They are divine downloads, prophetic visions, heaven's way of pulling back the veil on what has been decreed in the spiritual realm. You will dream of them with such clarity, such detail, such prophetic weight, that you will wake knowing you have been given a glimpse into tomorrow's reality. These are not wishful thinking manifesting in your sleep. These are heaven's previews, God showing you scenes from the future He has already written. You will dream of conversations that have not yet happened, but will. You will see moments of ministry, of purpose, of kingdom impact that seem impossible from where you stand today, yet carry the authority of divine truth. In these dreams, you will not be the desperate version of yourself clinging to fantasy. You will see yourself as heaven sees you, whole, healed, walking in purpose, alongside the one whose mission intertwines with yours. The dreams will be so vivid, so spiritually charged, that they will linger for days, weeks, becoming reference points for your faith when the natural realm offers no evidence. And here is the confirmation within the confirmation. They will be dreaming too. In ways they cannot explain. In moments they least expect, heaven will be downloading the same visions, the same scenes, the same prophetic glimpses. Two spirits, miles apart, receiving the same divine briefing about a future written in eternity. But God will not stop with dreams. He will begin to speak through His chosen vessels, the prophetic voices in your life, who have no knowledge of your situation, yet begin to speak with startling accuracy about what heaven has prepared for you. The prophet, who knows nothing of your heart's secret, will suddenly receive a word about divine connections being restored. The intercessor who has never heard this person's name will begin to see them in prayer, will sense their spiritual assignment, will feel the weight of their calling intersecting with yours. Listen carefully when multiple voices, operating independently of each other, begin to speak the same message over your life. This is not coincidence. This is divine confirmation. Heaven is establishing testimony through the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses, as Scripture demands. The prophetic community will begin to sense what God is orchestrating, even when you have shared nothing, even when you have hidden the connection in the depths of your heart. And the words they speak will not be generic, surface-level encouragements. They will carry specifics that make your spirit leap. They will mention details only God could have revealed. They will describe this person's heart, their calling, their spiritual DNA with such precision that you will know beyond doubt heaven is confirming what your spirit already knew. Chosen one, in this season of confirmation, God will begin to orchestrate circumstances with such precision that even the most skeptical mind cannot deny his hand at work. The coincidences will become so frequent, so specific, so perfectly timed that they form a prophetic pattern spelling out his intentions. You will hear their name in the most unexpected places. You will encounter their favorite songs on random radio stations at moments when you most need encouragement. You will see their birth date, their initials, symbols that represent them appearing in sequences that defy mathematical probability. Heaven is speaking through the language of signs and wonders, through divine orchestration that bears his fingerprints. Books will fall open to passages that describe your exact situation. Sermons will address your precise questions without the preacher knowing your story. Strangers will speak words of encouragement that seem scripted for your specific journey. This is God confirming through his creation, through his people, through the very fabric of circumstances, that what you sense is not imagination, it is divine revelation. And here is the confirmation that will seal it all. The spiritual atmosphere around this connection will shift dramatically. Where once there was confusion, clarity emerges. Where once there was anxiety, peace settles. Where once there was desperation, patience takes root. This is the Spirit of God settling the question in your spirit, removing the torment of uncertainty and replacing it with the confidence of divine knowing. You will begin to pray about this connection differently, not with pleading desperation, but with prophetic authority. Your intercession will shift from God. Please make this happen to God. Prepare us for what you are about to do. Your worship will carry new depth because you are no longer singing through pain, you are singing through promise. Even in their presence, whether in person or even in thought, the anointing will intensify. Your spiritual sensitivity will heighten. Your prayers will carry greater weight. Your discernment will sharpen. This is divine confirmation at the cellular level, your spirit bearing witness that this connection carries heaven's approval and anointing. And in the crescendo of all confirmations, heaven will provide the ultimate witness. You will both begin to sense the shift simultaneously. Without communication, without coordination, you will both enter a new level of spiritual awareness about this connection. The same peace that settles in your spirit will settle in theirs. The same dreams that visit your sleep will visit theirs. The same prophetic words spoken over your life will be echoed over theirs. This is the final seal when heaven confirms not just to one, but to both. When the revelation becomes mutual, when the divine timing aligns both hearts, both spirits, both callings toward the same prophetic moment, no longer will you carry this burden alone. No longer will you question if you are the only one receiving these signs. Chosen one, when all of heaven begins to testify to the same truth, when the confirmations multiply beyond doubt, when the spiritual witnesses align in perfect harmony, this is God removing every excuse for delay, every reason for fear, every foundation for doubt. He is preparing to move, and he is making sure that when he does, both of you will be ready to step into what he has orchestrated. The confirmations are not random. They are not comfort food for a hopeful heart. They are divine mobilization. Heaven is preparing to release what it has been protecting, to manifest what it has been maturing, to unite what it has been refining. The confirmations are the final trumpet call before the breakthrough arrives. Your discernment was accurate. Your spirit was hearing correctly. Heaven is about to confirm it with such power, such clarity, such undeniable proof that doubt will become impossible and faith will become sight. Chosen one, brace yourself for a truth that will shake you to your core. The moment heaven begins to move on your divine connection, hell mobilizes every weapon in its arsenal to stop it. The enemy has been watching. He has been calculating. He has been waiting for this very season when breakthrough is imminent to unleash his most vicious, most strategic, most deceptive attacks. Why? Because he knows something you are only beginning to understand. This connection is not just about your personal happiness. It is not merely about two hearts finding each other. This is about a spiritual alliance so powerful, so anointed, so dangerous to his kingdom that he will stop at nothing to prevent its manifestation. When heaven prepares to unite two missions into one unstoppable force, hell trembles and then it fights. The warfare you are about to experience, or perhaps are already experiencing, is not random. It is not coincidence. It is targeted, calculated, supernatural opposition designed with one purpose: to make you give up just before your breakthrough arrives. Listen carefully. The enemy's first weapon is doubt disguised as wisdom. He will whisper with the voice of reason, "You're being foolish. You're wasting your time." If this was real, it would be easier. He will send well-meaning friends who will counsel you to move on and be practical. He will orchestrate circumstances that make the connection seem impossible, timing that appears completely wrong, obstacles that feel insurmountable. But understand this: hell's primary strategy is not to attack the connection directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, he attacks your faith in the connection. He plants seeds of doubt about your discernment. He makes you question whether you truly heard from God. He replays every moment of silence, every perceived rejection, every delay, and magnifies them until they eclipse every confirmation heaven has given you. The whispers will come in your weakest moments. You imagined it all. You're obsessed. You're embarrassing yourself. God never spoke to you about this person. And if you are not anchored in the truth of what you have received, if you are not rooted in the confirmations heaven has provided, these whispers will begin to sound like wisdom rather than warfare. But the enemy has an even more sinister strategy. He will send counterfeits. Just as breakthrough approaches, suddenly other options will appear. People will enter your life who seem perfect on paper, who offer everything your flesh desires without the spiritual weight, without the divine complexity, without the requirement for growth that your true divine connection demands. These counterfeits will be attractive, available, and seemingly easier. They will not challenge your character. They will not provoke your growth. They will not require the level of spiritual maturity that your true assignment demands. And hell will use them as escape routes, offering you comfort zones disguised as God's provision. Here's how you recognize the counterfeit. It will feel good to your flesh, but leave your spirit empty. It will satisfy your immediate needs, but derail your ultimate destiny. It will give you companionship, but cost you your calling. The counterfeit always comes with one hidden requirement. It asks you to settle for less than what heaven has prepared. Chosen one, be warned. The counterfeit often arrives just when your faith is tested, just when the waiting becomes most difficult, just when doubt is loudest. This is not coincidence. This is strategy. Hell knows the exact moment when you are most vulnerable to accepting a substitute for your promise. The warfare will also target your sense of worthiness. The enemy will bombard you with memories of past failures, past mistakes, past seasons when you are not who you are today. He will whisper, "You don't deserve this. You're not good enough. Look at your past. Look at your flaws. God would never choose someone like you for something this significant." This is hell's attempt to disqualify you from your own destiny. He knows that if he can convince you that you are unworthy of the connection, you will sabotage it yourself. You will pull back. You will create distance. You will assume the worst instead of believing the best. You will interpret silence as rejection and delays as denial. But here's the truth hell desperately wants to hide. God does not choose the qualified, he qualifies the chosen. Your past has been redeemed. Your mistakes have been covered. Your weaknesses have been transformed into strengths. The very areas where you feel most inadequate are the areas where his grace shines brightest. Hell will also attempt to isolate you from your support system. Relationships that once provided encouragement will become strained. Friends who used to understand you will become critical. Family members will question your choices. Even spiritual mentors may seem distant or unsupportive. This is designed to make you feel alone, crazy, and unsupported in your faith. Hell wants to strip away every voice that might encourage you to hold on, every witness that might confirm what heaven has shown you. In isolation, doubt grows louder. In isolation, fear becomes overwhelming. In isolation, the enemy's whispers become the only voice you hear. But chosen one, this isolation is temporary. It is a test of whether you will stand on what God has spoken to you personally, or whether you will be swayed by the opinions of others. Sometimes God allows the human voices to grow quiet so that his voice becomes the only one you trust. The enemy will not limit his attacks to the spiritual realm. He will assault your physical health, your emotional stability, your mental clarity. You may experience unusual fatigue, unexplained anxiety, depression that seems to come from nowhere. You may find yourself overwhelmed by emotions you cannot explain, discouraged by thoughts that do not align with who you know yourself to be. This is spiritual warfare manifesting in the natural realm. Hell is trying to weaken every aspect of your being so that you do not have the strength to fight for what heaven has promised. He wants to exhaust you, overwhelm you, and drain you until surrender seems like the only option. But recognize these attacks for what they are: desperation. The enemy only fights this hard when he knows he is about to lose something significant. The intensity of the warfare is actually confirmation of the importance of what heaven is preparing to release. Perhaps the most subtle but powerful weapon in hell's arsenal is the manipulation of your perception of time. He will make delays feel eternal. He will magnify every moment of waiting until it feels unbearable. He will whisper that you have wasted too much time already, that you should have moved on by now, that if this was real, it would have happened faster. This is designed to make you abandon your post just before the breakthrough. Hell knows that divine timing is perfect, but he wants to convince you that divine timing is too slow. He wants you to make decisions based on human impatience rather than spiritual wisdom. But chosen one, God's timeline is not your timeline. His ways are not your ways. What feels like delay to you is often precision to him. What seems like too long to your flesh is often just right to your spirit. The enemy's urgency is false urgency designed to make you act outside of God's perfect timing. Here's how you recognize that you are in the storm before the breakthrough. Everything hell throws at you will be designed to make you let go of the very thing heaven is preparing to release. The attacks will be specific to your connection, targeted at your faith in the promise, calculated to make you quit just before the manifestation. But this is also your confirmation. Hell does not waste ammunition on empty promises. He does not deploy full-scale warfare against fantasies. The intensity of his opposition is actually his acknowledgement of the reality and power of what God has spoken over your life. Chosen one, you are not losing your mind. You are not imagining the warfare. You are experiencing the birth pangs of breakthrough. The enemy is throwing everything at you because he knows that once this divine connection is fully manifested, once these two missions are united, once this alliance is established, his ability to hinder your assignment will be permanently crippled. Stand firm. Resist the devil, and he will flee. Put on the full armor of God and hold your ground. The warfare is intense because the victory is imminent. The attacks are fierce because the breakthrough is close. The enemy is desperate because heaven is about to release what he has tried so hard to prevent. The storm is not a sign that you are wrong, it is a sign that you are close. The warfare is not evidence that God has abandoned you. It is evidence that hell is terrified of what God is about to do through you. Hold fast, chosen one. The battle is almost won. The breakthrough is almost here. And when it comes, you will understand why hell fought so hard to stop it and why heaven fought even harder to ensure it. Chosen one, this is your moment. Stand in spiritual awareness. Walk in holy expectancy. Trust that God is not merely writing a love story, He is forging a kingdom alliance that will echo into eternity. So breathe this in. If it's from God, it will return. If it's from God, it will align. If it's from God, it will be unstoppable. Now declare it. Activate it. And walk like the warrior heaven has been preparing you to be.